Could 𝗲𝗓𝗏 be one of the most undervalued cryptos?
Yes, it can.
So today, guys, we're going to go through, some of the things around 𝗲𝗓𝗏 that we think make it one of the most undervalued altcoins out there. As we get into this video, guys, if you do find it useful and informative, do go ahead and hit that like button. We both really do appreciate it. And of course, if you happen to be new to the channel and you want to stay up to date with all of those new cryptocurrencies and hidden gems, then why not consider subscribing to the channel? By becoming a subscriber, you'll be kept up to date with everything we do here. It is free. You'll stay well informed, so why not? Chris, anything else you would like to add, or should we just jump straight down to the desktop and start talking everything 𝗲𝗓𝗏?
Yeah, let's just get straight into it, Nick. I mean, it would be interesting to know what your thoughts are. Do you think that 𝗲𝗓𝗏 is really undervalued currently? I mean, we believe it is.
Fantastic. Right, let's get on into it.
Let's do it.
So let's start with what is 𝗲𝗓𝗏. So 𝗲𝗓𝗏 provides a high throughput, low latency and low fee consensus platform designed to power the decentralized economy of the future. And 𝗲𝗓𝗏 plans to address the issues faced in other blockchain ecosystems through the use of best research, engineering practices, and ultimately to fine-tune the system. The technical focus of the project is on resharding and secure staking with decentralized randomness. And 𝗲𝗓𝗏 also implements optimal cross-sharding routing and fast block propagation. And in practice, basically, 𝗲𝗓𝗏 helps businesses to build marketplaces for fungible tokens such as loyalty points and energy credits, and of course those NFTs, in-game digital assets as well. So 𝗲𝗓𝗏 does use a zero knowledge proofs to enable data sharing with consumer privacy as well. And so, ultimately this thing seems to be pretty well, positioned. It uses a consensus mechanism that is effective proof of stake, so EPOS for short. And I'm not going to get into too much of the technical stuff in this particular video, but the technology over at 𝗲𝗓𝗏 is definitely something you want to be paying attention to if that's your bag, and well worth doing more research on that area. We have done quite a few videos now on 𝗲𝗓𝗏, and we have covered off in what is 𝗲𝗓𝗏, a little bit more on the technical stuff, but well worth doing some of your own research as well. In this particular video, we want to be talking a lot more about why we think 𝗲𝗓𝗏 is so undervalued. And to get to that point, it's really going to be focusing in on around some of those team members and why 𝗲𝗓𝗏 is existing today. So the team behind 𝗲𝗓𝗏 is a combination of experts in many different areas, right? They come from places like Google, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, and even had some successful startups as well. And ultimately, they've worked in some of the largest systems in the world, such as the AWS infrastructure, Apple Siri, and even Google Maps. So while the team remains small, with just 20 or so, and actually it might have grown since I last looked at the number of people in the team, but it's a growing team, and it does still remain relatively small in comparison to some other blockchains out there. But nonetheless, they are doing some fantastic work with new partnerships as well. So the CEO of 𝗲𝗓𝗏, Chris, Stephen, do you want to talk a little bit about him?
Yeah, so first of all, I think they've got about 61 people working for 𝗲𝗓𝗏 now, which is remarkable, right? So yeah, just starting with Stephen. I mean, like the founder, the CEO. Again, for me, we talk about how important a team is regularly when we do live streams and talk about projects. I mean, really well educated, senior engineer, former senior engineer at Google, and actually was sort of, I guess, instrumental, an instrumental part of the team that built Google Maps, right? So the front end infrastructure team was the team that he worked in. So, really good there. And then you've got founder. I think you mentioned they've had some startups, some of these guys, and this was 𝗏𝗏𝗪𝗏. This was acquired by Apple, and then he was a principal engineer at Apple for a year as well. So we're talking about people here that are very, very good in their sector, and they can get their hands dirty, and the approach has been to sort of get your head down and get involved and and really get some of these things over the line that they're working on. So yeah, Stephen, just fundamental. He's kind of like the backbone of it all, I kind of feel. I don't know if there's anything you want to add, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, Stephen definitely is the foundation level when it comes to Harmony One. As the founder, he has a PhD in cryptography. Obviously, he set up, or he actually went on to be a researcher at Microsoft first, then a senior infrastructure engineer at Google, and then a principal engineer, as you said, over at Apple. He had that startup, which he's SpotSetter, as you mentioned, and then obviously he sold that to Apple as well, and then went to work with Apple for a year afterwards, and then obviously formed Harmony shortly after that. So fantastic history there. He's been with many of those really large entities, was instrumental in the whole Google Map thing. So absolutely fantastic kind of guy, really knows his stuff. And he's actually taken the time to kind of build up Harmony One from the ground up. It's not a fork of another blockchain. This is something that was in the same way that Cardano had that approach, right? Take the time, the academic approach, take a step back, look at it. How would you handle the trilemma, all four of them, according to Stephen here, right? And ultimately just work your way forward and actually build a structured approach to those problems. And the result of that is something like Harmony or Cardano, right? And rather than rushing a project to market or taking a fork of another project, or just picking up Cosmos's SDK or something like that, or forking Ethereum, this is something a team who have taken the time to actually develop something from the ground up based on academic research and how to actually tackle these problems properly, rather than just plastering them time and time again. And that scenario, we see it with Ethereum, it does not work, right? You build something, you rush it to market, and then you're constantly fixing the bugs and the problems, and usually those come at the expense of the users. So this is fantastic. It's a fantastic approach. Stephen's a genius in his own right, in my opinion, Chris. I'm not sure if you agree to that.
Oh, completely do, Nick. I mean, yeah, I think the one thing that Harmony have got to work on is their marketing strategy. They're getting their head down. They're getting into all the work, and they're probably one of the most advanced projects really in the sector of blockchain that they're working in. So the price is probably not actually reflecting how advanced they are currently, and I think that's mainly down to the marketing. So I think that's kind of the key, and I know they're working on it.
Fantastic. So what about RJ, Chris? Do you want to get into him?
Yeah, so RJ again comes from a really good sort of background, and I won't go into all of it, but just to sort of give you an idea, again, software engineer at Google, for example, ABC Blockchain Foundation, he was co-chair there, and then obviously Harmony as well. Again, from a really good educated background, and for me, it's almost like Stephen and the team, they're able to get their hands dirty. I talk about this a lot. For me, it's really, really important to be able to do that and sort of get involved. I don't know if there's anything you want to add, Nick.
No, I think it's just important. There's quite a few, key members of the team that are worth kind of talking about. Obviously, we'll debate this video rather long if we go into each of the history on all of them. But
Exactly.
what we'll do is move on, maybe, Chris, to talk about some of the up and coming kind of partnerships and deals and bridging and all that kind of good stuff. It also makes Harmony One a very interesting project.
Yeah. So if we just go for some, if we go with just the new stuff, right? Because there's an awful lot of stuff I mentioned earlier that actually I think they're probably more advanced than most currently in the sector, the blockchain sector they work in. So you got Binance Smart Chain. So this is a new bridge, which is fantastic. They've got cross chain. So you've got Injective is a new one that they've integrated with. You've got new dexes, Nick. So you've got Sushi Swap. You got Viper Swap, Moochie Swap, which we've talked about a fair bit. NFTs, so a new one would be DaVinci, and we've used DaVinci, and it is really good, and it's super cheap to use, and for me it does sort of set things apart from some other projects. They've got a new stable coin as well, Nick. Then if we focus on some of the finance side of things, right? So you got Swift. This isn't Swift as in the Swift that deals with the messaging system for the banks. It's a different company called Swift, just to be clear on that. Benchmark Protocol, DSLA Protocol, again, one that we're also invested in, and then Refinance. You've got flat gateways, so Simplex would be another one. What else have we got here? You got Traveler, again, it's another new lifestyle kind of partnership that they've got. And then there's a new one, and this one I kind of feel like slipped under the radar a little bit, but it's a wallet, and it's Blitz, and it's a downloadable app. So this was one of the things that early on I kind of I may have mentioned it in one of the live streams, I'm sure I did. One of the things that I kind of felt was missing was like an app that you could use to stake and hold your Harmony on, and there are some, but they're just not, they're not the way that I would like them to be, like intuitive and stuff like that. But Blitz has definitely sort of ticked off a lot of the things that I wanted to see in a wallet app style, if that makes any sense, Nick.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I use that. I think it's a fantastic app. So do check that out if you haven't already. You can get that in like the Apple Store and the Play Store and that side of things. But I think that gives you sort of a flavor of the things that they've been working on recently. I haven't sort of gone over all of the most recent ones, but there are so many partnerships for Harmony. It does kind of remind me a little bit of VeChain. It's not quite to the scale of VeChain, but I don't think it'll be that long before it is. I think there's lots of value sort of partnering with Harmony, and we have talked about cross-chain and stuff like this recently quite a lot. I do kind of think that's the next sort of big thing, and it's definitely going to be what sets projects apart from others that perhaps aren't going to be here for the long ride that we've got ahead. I think Harmony will be. I think they're doing wonderful things. Everything that we wanted to see when we got in super early to Harmony. We've been talking about it since October 2020, which was pretty much when we started the channel, right? And we were talking like sub 1 cent Harmony back then. We wanted to talk about it more, but we weren't really getting the views off the back of it. Now it's kind of on people's radar, but I don't think it's on everybody's radar. And I think that's starting to change. You're starting to see big YouTubers talk about it now. So yeah, it's kind of, I feel like I'm back. It is a big reason why we're bullish on this. They're doing so much behind the scenes. There's so much work going on, so much bridging, so many partnerships. It's great to see. And I do think they're ahead of some of the others.
Fantastic. Yeah. And there's a couple of things that we probably also should mention is it's got a fantastic community behind it, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, like it sets it like apart from others, like for me. I'm regularly in the Telegram groups, and the one thing that I do like about the community is they're very welcoming. Not only are they welcoming, but there's a lot of tribalism sort of in the space, and I don't see that within the Harmony community. I kind of feel like you're okay to talk about other projects, because let's be honest, who's invested in just one project? I mean, diversifying your portfolio is so important, right? So the tribalism needs to be something of the past, really. And I think that's one thing that the Harmony community have understood. And I mentioned earlier about marketing and stuff like that. What I see with Harmony, and one of the things that I really like about the community, is they're doing a lot of marketing for the project themselves, right? I see giveaways and stuff like that, where I think they're giving away like 1,000 Harmony One tokens, sharing awareness of the project and stuff like that. I don't see that in other communities, and for me, it does set it apart. If you're invested in a project, we've got involved by becoming a validator, sort of bringing awareness to that. And obviously, we plan to work with the One Harmony community to do some educational videos on how to become a validator and stuff like that. So there's all this wonderful stuff that I see that's community driven that I don't see so much in other projects, and it does set it apart for me.
Absolutely. And of course, the price of Harmony One coin itself at the moment is doing okay. It has had a pullback, which is quite natural. And I think that thing has come into a bit of an end in terms of correction. So watch that space too. And obviously, when it comes to holding Harmony One, you also have the ability to delegate it and stake it and also earn that passive income. We do run that validator node, as Chris was talking about there. Currently in our pool, we have delegated 31.9 million one, which is fantastic. You guys are smashing it out of the park. We are getting returns of about 11.1%. So from an APY point of view, that's pretty juicy stuff. There are better ones out there in terms of better projects that give you kind of a better yield. But also there are some that are doing a lot less than that. Take Cardano, where the average is 5.5. This one sits quite nicely at 11.1, which is pretty good kind of returns on your investment. So just by holding one Harmony, you'll be able to get a good passive income, right, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of our Telegram group that are delegating into the Harmony One pool that we run, and yeah, they're loving the juicy rewards. I quite often see comments on how happy they are. So that's fantastic. And I think get involved. If you're not delegating, it's it's important to make your crypto work for you, like you work to buy the crypto. And it also makes the project more decentralized, and that is one of Harmony One's goals, right? To have the most decentralized platform out there. Currently, I think Cardano is just winning that race, but I think it won't be long before Harmony catch up. And we're seeing that with lots of exchanges sort of stopping people from withdrawing their Harmony One off of their platforms, which is, I guess, causing some liquidity issues. So
yeah, fantastic, guys. Those are our kind of thoughts as to why we're so bullish on Harmony One, and some of the thoughts of why we think it is so undervalued in comparison to some of those other potential blockchains out there. Now, hopefully you found this useful, informative. If you did, hit that like button. We both really do appreciate that. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you want to stay up to date with everything we do here, from those new cryptocurrencies through to those hidden gems, then do subscribe to the channel. By subscribing, you'll be kept up to date with everything we do here. It is free. You'll stay well informed. So why not? And Chris, with all that said and done and out of the way, we hope everyone has a fantastic day, and we'll catch you all in the next one.
Yeah, take care.